right. Okay. So there are no questions for the captain from the council. Hearing none, we'll move on to the city treasurer's report. Now, the city manager's report and the treasurer's report are in your packets. You can review them at your leisure. Okay. The next item on the agenda is topics of discussion, the election board. Councilman Herring.
Yes, I've been looking over these paperwork that we received from the election board, and I'm having a major issue with the spending that occurred from the board. There was a $30,000 budget, and they went over budget by $9,000. And I want to know, what resolution do we have authorizing them to continue spending past the $30,000 limit?
I was not given a resolution by the administration concerning that. I didn't, I was not made aware of that. If I can look into that and find out if, if that's if there was an issue with that.
Because I mean, I add up everything, and they've gone over the budget, and our charter is quite clear. You cannot spend more than what was budgeted without getting approval from the council or getting a budget amendment, which the budget was not done. And to just arbitrarily spend money in violation of the charter is against the charter. And again, you violate the spending policies, you're supposed to be removed from your position. So that needs to be looked at too. And if they violated the policy, Mr. Richard Montgomery, Mr. Ricky Montgomery, and Mr. Beckles need to be removed from the election board for violating that policy, because they should not have continued spending like that. $9,000 over the budget is a lot of money.
Could you send an itemized report of what you've seen that shows that they spent over $9,000?
Mr. George has already sent it to every council member. Check your email. That's where I got my information from.
All right.
He sent it already.
Well, I'll have the treasurer look at that again, and we'll go from there. All right. Your next item was the election budget. Is this the same?
No, this is something completely different. I don't understand why the budget wasn't brought forth to amend in order for the runoff to happen. Ms. Cross spent a lot of time and effort changing all her signs to June 2nd. After we had that meeting that night to amend the budget, I sent an email to you and the rest of the council saying that I would support amending the budget, and I heard nothing from it. I heard not one word from anyone on that. And I don't understand why it wasn't brought forth. The election should have been held by now, and there's no reason why it shouldn't have been. You actually had 5 people that said they would support a walk-in absentee ballot election. And I'm not understanding why it wasn't brought forth.
All right, I'll look into that, and I will address that.
Well, you the one that was supposed to schedule the meeting. I mean, I sent the email out.
I scheduled a budget hearing, Mr. Herring, and the last budget hearing we tried to have, it was shut down because the agenda was not accepted. So
this is not the budget hearing. This is the hearing that we had to amend the budget to add additional monies to the budget for the runoff.
And when we wanted to amend the budget for the runoff, we did not get 5 votes to do that.
But you got an email. You received an email from me saying that I would support it, and you had the 5 votes, and you didn't move in. You did not move on it, and I don't understand why.
Council President.
Councilwoman Smallwood.
Yeah, I'm on the same wavelength with Councilman Hand, because at our meeting prior to that, our city attorney has sent out an email to say that we should have had a meeting on May 18th to set the budget and to determine what type of meeting we was going to have. instead of you having that type of a meeting on May 18th for the election board, you had the mayor's budget presented on that day. I had left several messages with Mr. George to find out when you was gonna have the meeting for the election board, but you never responded to him and he never responded back to me. So I wanna know why we didn't have the meeting on the 18th. Because at the previous meeting, you had 5 people: Deborah Eason, Don Juan, Angela Ferguson, myself, and you, that said we would do, I said I would do a walk-in only. Other people said they would do a walk-in or a walk-in and a drop-off. So you had the votes that night. So I don't understand why we did not have the budget meeting to put the money in the budget for on the 18th. Can you explain that to me?
Councilwoman Smallwood, because of the fact that we could not agree on how the election was to be held, there were 3 people for a walk-in or 2 people for a walk-in, and then one for, there was no agreement on how the election was held.
We had 4 people, Councilwoman Eason, you are mistaken, you are
All right.
not telling the truth.
Mistaken.
Don Juan, Deborah Eason, Angela Ferguson both said, the 3 of them said that they would do a drop-off and or walk-in only. I said I would do a walk-in only. So that's 4 votes right there for a walk-in.
Mhm.
So explain to me why we did not have that meeting on the 18th.
The meeting on the 18th was scheduled to be a public hearing so that the mayor could present his budget, and that had been planned long before that meeting for the emergency money for the budget, to amend the budget for the
No,
runoff election.
that meeting came out after the city attorney suggested, in which you normally go by, but the city attorney said that we need to have this meeting on the 18th to determine what we're going to do. Even if the meeting was on the 8th, even if you did do the budget meeting on the 18th, you could have did another meeting on the 19th to get the money in the budget for the election.
Well, when I send out availability of council members, I never get the response.
I have been to every
So-
meeting. I have been to every meeting that the council had. So you can't assume because somebody didn't respond, they're not coming.
Okay. All right. Any other questions concerning the budget, budget for the runoff? The election budget was, the election board, the election budget. Your next item, Mr. Herring, was the runoff.
Yes. When is the runoff? Why am I hearing from citizens and it's out? I hear it's out here on the website that it's going to be on the July 17th or whatever. How do we know? I mean, I'm trying to figure out as a council member why I, as a council member, don't even know when a runoff is going to be. I haven't heard anything about it, but I'm hearing out on the streets that it's going to be July 17th.
I haven't heard that either, Mr. Herring. That sounds like hearsay to me.
You need to go to Facebook and find out.
Facebook, the city's mediums are the marquee, the website, and an agenda. Facebook, I'm not sure that, I mean, the city uses Facebook, but I'm not sure that that's a sanctioned medium, social platform for advertising meetings or what's going to happen in the city. I mean, that's used for social, like a group of citizens or groups of people that would use that to pass on information. It can be true and not true. So I haven't set any date for any election.
Well, you don't set the date. That's something that the council needs to discuss.
Well, I understand that, but the council has not met to set a date, and you know that.
Well, I do know that. That's why I don't understand how come there's a date out there.
I have, Mr. Herring, people put a lot of things on social media, Instagrams, social, Facebook, all of those mediums. People put a lot of information out there, and it's not necessarily true or true. So I mean, I don't know what to say to you concerning that. I don't know why it's on Facebook. Is my fingerprint or handprint associated with who put it on Facebook? No. Is any other council member put it on Facebook? Who put it on Facebook?
It's out there. Go to the Civic Association Facebook page. You see a whole
Well,
lot of stuff out there that's being said
I'm
about
not a
this
member of the
runoff.
Civic Association, sir, so I
You
don't.
don't have to be a member of the Civic Association to read the
Well,
posts.
I really don't have a lot of time to sit around and read Facebook or any other social media platforms like
But
some
you sit
folks.
around and
Well,
talk about, you can sit around and talk about other council members though.
Oh my goodness.
Well,
Okay.
let me just say this: I don't have time either. But when somebody calls me and asks me why is the election being said? Why is the runoff in July 17th, or why is it runoff going to be in July? And I'm like, don't know anything about it. And I'm like, where did you hear it? And they point me in that direction. I'm going to go check it out.
Well, that's up
So,
to you, Mr. That's the
well,
no
that's what I'm
one,
saying. I don't sit around and look at it either. But
no,
obviously, somebody is listening to it.
no one called me and said anything about that being on Facebook.
Because they don't call
And
you. You
being
think they're going to call? Why you think because somebody don't call you, something ain't happened?
all right. Thank you, Mr. Herring. Your next item on the topics of discussion is the cancellation of the budget meeting
Yes. Why was the budget meeting canceled? The past budget meeting canceled.
because I couldn't get the agenda passed.
No, you canceled that meeting before we even had it. You canceled the meeting on Friday.
That
The meeting was
meeting was,
scheduled for that
oh,
morning.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I did cancel that meeting. I canceled that meeting because I did not have a quorum anymore.
You didn't know whether you had a quorum or not.
Mr. Herring, when I got sent out the email to all the council persons for availability, yourself, Councilwoman Smallwood, and Councilwoman Wilson did not respond. So I knew I had a quorum with the 4 people that responded. When Mr. Williams came up and had a sickness or illness, then I knew I didn't have a quorum. So that's why it was canceled, because I knew I did not have a quorum.
You did not know if you had a quorum because every meeting we haven't responded to any of your polls, and we've been at every meeting. So you do not know whether you had a quorum or not.
But why is it
you
that
should not have canceled it?
why is it that when before I became council president, you could answer every poll to the council clerk and let her know that you were coming to the meeting so that we could prepare? But
Because
when I became council president, all of a sudden you cannot answer any availability.
because the council clerk sent it to my AOL. That's why. Because I don't get your email. I don't get city emails on my job. Ever since the city was hit with that ransomware, my job is not taking no emails from the city of Glen Arden. I've told you that over and over again. Send it to my AOL, but you refuse to send it to my AOL. So
Because the attorney has instructed us
the
not to
attorney
send to
did not.
personal emails.
That's a straight up lie. The attorney did not say that. I talked to the attorney.
I'll
Now,
send
so
you the letter.
you sitting there telling a bold
I
face
have
lie.
a document.
You
I have
don't
a
have a
written
document,
document.
nothing.
Yes, I do. I
Then
have
you
a written
forward it to me.
document.
You forward it to me because I know right for a fact that
Well,
ain't
I'm
true.
going to be sending it to Jay Herring at City of Glen Arden.
Do you better send it to my AOL? Then it
I'm not
don't
sending
exist.
anything to your AOL.
Then it doesn't exist. You did not get that. You're doing it because you were told to, because that's all you do is what you're told.
Okay.
So
Mr.
that's
Herring.
what it is.
So,
I know that for a
okay.
fact. I had conversations with a number of attorneys who've said you cannot dictate to me what email I use to get communications from the city.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Mr.
So
Herring.
and also, so why did you send the incoming council members emails from to their personal email address?
Because they're incoming, and as soon as we get them sworn in, we will switch over, and none of those we will not using any of those email addresses.
Well, you don't know what we'll be using.
That was the only way that I had to get in contact with them, Mr. Herring.
Well, you forward me that email from Mr. Kopinski.
Yeah, I certainly will.
And I'm gonna forward the emails that I have, and
Okay.
we'll see who's saying what.
Okay.
Because we in two different stories. So,
Thank you.
So like I said, you didn't
That
send it
is
to my
why the
email.
budget meeting was canceled.
Well, the budget meeting was canceled because you chose to cancel it because you felt you didn't have the votes.
It didn't have anything to do with votes. I did not have I didn't have the votes to accept the agenda.
Did you reach out to any? Did you reach out to any other 3 council members to find out?
I'm not going to sit here and go back and forth with you about
No,
this,
I'm
Mr.
asking you a
Herring.
question.
It's done and over with.
I'm asking you a question.
Okay, under the topics of discussion, I think, let's see, cancellation of the budget meeting. Okay, that's been discussed. There are no other topics under the topic of discussion.
Excuse me, Madam President.
Councilwoman Wilson.
Yes, I had something that I'd like to discuss.
Councilwoman Wilson, the agenda has already been accepted. You were not on the call earlier to
Well,
accept
because
the agenda.
I had difficulty getting in. I don't know what the problem was. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Then so
No,
you get
I'm
ready.
sorry.
Excuse me, are
sorry.
you getting ready to close the meeting down?
Yes,
Okay,
it is now
then I'd like
7:24.
to make a comment.
It is now
I'd
7:24
like
and
to
this
have a
meeting is
comment.
adjourned. I'm not going to argue with you.
You a piece of